pals, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Hillary, and if you are a returning subscriber, then you must be a crazy Hilly, and welcome back. If you guys like any of the content that I put out here, feel free to give me a like or subscribe or leave a comment down below. It actually helps the channel out so much. I also have Patreon and merch down below if you guys want to check that out. All the links will be in the description, so just, if you want to head on down to the description, they're in the description. Tonight we are going to be covering the Axeman of New Orleans. And he was a crazy serial killer that running around taking people's hatchets and killing people in New Orleans. So yeah, let's get into it. The Axeman of New Orleans was an American serial killer who was actively murdering people in New Orleans and the surrounding areas. And most of his killings only lasted, well, all of his killings only lasted 1 year, from May 1918 to 1919. The Axeman was never caught, and to this day, all of his murders still remain unsolved. The majority of people that he actually attacked kind of seemed to be immigrants from Italy, so a lot of people thought it was racially charged, like there was a bunch of stuff going on, but yeah. In total, the Axeman killed 6 people, and 6 people were also injured, so I don't know if this is like some spiritual thing. I would expect like maybe 6 more people to be less injured, you know, 666 to keep it. So as his name implies, the Axeman killed people with axes. And most of these axes, it wasn't even his own axe. You know that? He broke into people's houses and stole their axe and killed them with their own axe. I don't know what can be more disrespect than some guy coming into your house, taking the axe that you used to chop your wood and heat up your family, and then injuring you with it. I don't know why you can't just take your own weapon. But anyway, the way that he would break into these people's houses was usually he would take a chisel and knock out a panel from one of the doors in a house, get in, locate the axe of the family, I guess, and then go upstairs. Most of the people that he was trying to attack seemed to be the women of the family, and a lot of the times the male, the husband or whoever was with their wife or whoever at the time, would get killed only if he tried to intervene from the Axeman killing the woman. All of his crimes were also not motivated by robbery, because all of the houses that he broke into, he never took anything from. There was never anything missing, so he wasn't coming in to steal stuff. He was just coming in to hit people with an axe. One plausible theory to why he was committing these murders was because he was trying to promote jazz music. There was actually one specific letter that he sent into the police at the time, and he said, "If every house is playing jazz music, no one dies tonight. But if you're not playing jazz music, look out." Like, essentially that's what he was, like, he wrote into the police, which, it's so weird. Why are you so weird? Like, I know he can't see this because he's long dead, like this happened in 1918, but is it not odd for them to be like, as long as all New Orleans is in full swing, no one dies tonight? And of course, like most creepy serial killers, you know, he had to write a letter to the police to jazz himself up. Get it? Jazz? I really don't know what it is with killers wanting to, like, send the police all the evidence they can and write, like, long letters about their lives, but I'm going to read the note that he sent to the cops, and everyone try not to barf in their seats. Hottest hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal of New Orleans, the Axeman. They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible. Even as the ether that surrounds your earth, I am not a human being, but a spirit, and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. Before I continue, how pretentious. He just makes me want to, like, when I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. Say one thing about the man, he was a poet. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, For it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think that there is any need of such warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as the most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens and the worst, for I am in close relationship with the angel of death. Now, I've read some letters, and it keeps going. I'm going to continue reading it, but this guy is so annoying. Like, since going on and watching, like, Richard Ramirez and, like, Jack the Ripper, which I'll be doing later. Like, this guy's so annoying. You're annoying. Like, he'd be a texter. He'd be one of those guys. He'd be sending you all these emojis. I'm not interested. I'm in a close relationship with the angel of death. Ugh. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans in my infinite mercy. I am going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing. At the time I have just mentioned, if everyone has a jazz band going on, well then, so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it out on the specific Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this, and that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in the fact of realm or fancy. The Axeman. That is quite the letter. I'm going to say that this guy would have been a drama student of some sort. Like, he keeps referencing Tartarus and deep down in hell and the devil angel of which will resurrect me from the night. The first victims were Joseph Maggio and Catherine Maggio. They were attacked May 23rd, 1918, while they were both sleeping, and this guy broke into their house, killed them both with a straight razor, and then bashed their heads with an axe that he found in their house. Joseph actually lived just until his brother kind of arrived, and then they both unfortunately died. But I want to say that this Axeman would not have made it at all in the 21st century. The man was covered in blood, so he took off his clothes, left his clothes there, and changed into a fresh set of clothes, and also chucked his razor blade, and that was later found. So, like, you can go and write all this poetry and all this, but if he was born right now, we would have fingerprints, blood, clothing, probably sweat, God knows. Like, he would have got caught. The next victims were Louis Bessemer, and he was very German, so I hope I pronounced that right, and his mistress, Harriet Lowe. He was a grocer, and I don't know if I mentioned before, the previous couple were kind of also a grocer, so I don't know if this is like, this man's attacking grocers, but let's see what happened to them. They were attacked June 27th, 1918 in the back of his grocery store that they were in. I guess there must have been some sort of apartment because they were both back there. And the Axeman came in and hit them both in the head with their own axe, like, or hatchet. He hit them, I think he hit the woman in the ear and just, but they actually both lived. They both got hit in the head, and then they were found a little bit later on, both in pools of blood, and Harriet was taken to the hospital, and I believe they both were kind of treated for their wounds. And Louis actually went to prison for the crime. He was let out, but later on, his mistress, I'm assuming he has a wife, I don't know what her motivations were for telling him or telling the police this, or if it actually happened, but when she was dying or in the hospital, she named him as her attacker. I think her story's changed a little bit, but she named him, and he went to trial for this, but he was later acquitted, saying that, you know, it wasn't him. So we're doing a full circle here on the Axeman. Let's go to the next victims. Our next victim was Anna Schneider, and she was also, again, in the early morning hours in her bed, and she was attacked August 5th, 1918 by the Axeman. He had come in, and she was actually 8 months pregnant when she opened her eyes and saw a shadowy figure at the end of her bed, which turned out obviously to be Axeman, who came in and bashed her in the head multiple times. She was found by her husband, who was coming home late from work. But luckily, she didn't die. They actually took her to the hospital, and she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Her husband said that there was nothing stolen from the apartment, so, you know, again, it wasn't motivated by robbery. But the police at this point had put together that it was probably related to the previous case, and, like, they're hunting for some guy that's running around murdering people. Now, I just kind of want to end the victims on a happy note because, you know, the baby being born and her being alive was great news. But there is actually 6 more victims that happened of this random guy running around hitting people with axes. Plenty more people died. I would like to end my victims with the first 3 just because I don't want to have an hour-long video. But, you know, if you guys are interested or anything like that, feel free to leave comments down below and I will happily tell you who the other victims were. Maybe I can make a part 2 at some point, but we're not going to get into the rest of them. I'm just going to go straight into suspects from here on out because I just want to pretend that everything's happy with the birth of that little baby. So the main suspect that people kind of theorized that it could have been was a man named Joseph Monfrey. He was actually shot and killed in Los Angeles in 1920, so he died, which kind of would explain why the murders stopped, you know, seeing as it's from the 18 to 19 and he died in 20. But it has never been proven. There's never been, like, really substantial evidence for that. And there's not really that many more suspects. Like, the suspect list is super short and embarrassing for a guy that's throwing blades around and leaving bloody clothes all over the place. Again, this would have been solved if it had happened in this time, but because it was in the early 1900s, obviously, a lot of crimes were just, you know, you could just stab a dude and then walk home and wash the blood off your hands and you're done, right? Like, that's pretty much how it went back then, right? So we'll never know if Monfrey actually was the Axeman or if it, you know, it was somebody else. There was not enough evidence, not enough witnesses, not enough technology. So unfortunately, we will not find out. But if any of you guys want to leave any comments down below, let me know any of your theories if you feel like diving more deep into this case. It is really interesting. Seeing as how this guy could just run around, kick out panels, grab people's axes and smack them in the head and not get caught. But thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time. Oh, don't forget, like and subscribe.